And baby, put that color on. Stop shrinking today. Hey beautiful, welcome to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Morgan J, and this is your space to grow into your best self through faith, confidence, style, and a little bit of flair. So if that is something that you're interested in, please hit the subscribe button and join me for a little girl chat. So today we're going to be talking about something that I know at one point of our lives we struggle with, or we are currently struggling with, and that is shrinking. Not showing up as our best self, downplaying yourself to fit into a mold that you were never meant to fit into, second guessing yourself, saying sorry when you really didn't mean it. And it's time for us to show up as our bold self, fully authentic, walking in our purpose and being everything that God called us to be. Because if you're not gonna be it, who will, sis? Who will? So I know for the longest time I struggle with this, and there are moments that I still struggle with this. But when I tell you, lately I've been showing up as my bold self, showing up very authentic, showing up extra and big personality, using all my light. It has been the most freeing and empowering season. So I'm still, trying to figure out everything that I am and searching the word and trying to understand who God called me to be. But the steps that I've been making have been so promising, they have been so fulfilling, and they have just felt light. I feel light as a feather. I feel free. I don't have the baggage of having to shrink myself or not being extra or feeling down about myself because I'm not something that God didn't create me to be. So first, I want us to look at what is causing us to shrink in the first place. We have to identify that because shrinking isn't always obvious, and sometimes it shows up in our everyday routine. And because we're so used to doing it, we don't even notice that we have been shrinking ourselves all of these years. Sometimes shrinking looks like this: not speaking up when you know that you either have the answer, the solution to the problem, or you're being an advocate. Sometimes it's turning down opportunities because we just don't feel like we're ready. Now this is my thing. Sometimes it's trying to be low maintenance when we know that we were created to make waves. We were created as a high maintenance woman. And I don't mean like a woman who, has to get her hair, nails done. I'm not talking about that type of high maintenance. I'm talking about like you have high standards for yourself, but you have lowered your standards. You have remained low maintenance because that's what everybody deems to be good, or that's how you stay safe, or that's how you feel like you'll be able to elevate if you don't cause waves, and everything will be peaceful and then you could just move through life that way. No sis, some of us was created to be very high maintenance, okay? And sometimes it shows up as saying sorry when you didn't even do anything wrong. Like you didn't do anything wrong, or you might have just said what you had to say, but because you feel bad, you go ahead and apologize. When girl, you didn't even have to apologize in the beginning. You said what you said, and you got to stand on that. It's okay to stand 10 toes down. Well, it wouldn't be me, of course, if I didn't give you a scripture to encourage you with this piece of content. Matthew 5:14 says that you are a light of the world. A city set on a hill cannot be hidden. I interpret the scripture as I was never meant to blend in. I was never meant to dim my light because I am light, and that God is calling me a city on the hill, that I was never meant to be hidden because he put me on this world to be seen, to show others the light of Christ, and to do what he's called me to do. And if I'm gonna do what he called me to do, I can't hide my light anymore, and I can't shrink, and I can't be afraid of who I am or what people will perceive me to be. Okay, so now that we've recognized how shrinking shows up in our life, and pause this video right here if you need more time. You can go back and try to identify the ways that you shrink. But if you have, did the practice to identify how you shrink, now it's time to dig up that root, baby. So it's one thing to see the root on top of the grass, right? You hire lawn care, they cut that grass, or you get out there, you try to pull that weed out, and maybe you get it, but you don't get that root. We have to go to the root of what is causing us to do something. That way we can pull that root, no matter how long it takes, so that we can get rid of that thing and we can be able to transform into a beautiful flower. So there are 3 reasons why I feel like we mainly shrink or show up not in our full selves. One is going to be the fear of judgment. You're scared of what everyone will say about you and what they think about you. And sometimes you're scared of what you would think about yourself if you truly showed up as a woman that you're called to be. Number 2, maybe you have a fear of failure or a fear of doing too much. Again, doing too much kind of leads into your fear of people, but your fear of failing is another story. Like maybe, so well, sometimes it's not even just a fear of failing. Sometimes it's a fear of succeeding. Like, what if I succeed at this thing? Then I might have to keep duplicating that over and over and over. And what if I fail? Well, baby, you fall almost every day or every other day. Maybe not clumsy like me. Maybe you fall once a month, but baby, you get back up. So you have to go back and think about that. Like, hey, if I do fail, I failed trying, I failed doing, and I could get back up and I could do something else. And you have to look at the failures like, I'm going to fail, but what is the lesson that I failed in? Like me, I have literally started 5 businesses. Ask me, am I a business owner to this day? I am not. I failed 5 times. But you know who's gonna start a business before the end of the year? You're looking at her, it's me. Because I failed. But in order to be successful, I gotta try again, right? In order to come out of your shell, you have to take steps. Like, even if they're small baby steps, you have to take steps to show up as the light and as the woman that God has called you to be. And number 3, you might want to be liked and you might want to be accepted. And I think people don't say that that's okay. Like, that is okay. That's a normal thing. Even if you don't want to be accepted by the masses or liked by the masses, everybody has that one person that they want to impress, that one person that they want to like them. Everybody has that desire to be loved and accepted because we're humans, right? So that's normal. But I think that when you wear that as like a jacket, that hinders you from showing up as yourself, because your jacket is protecting you. Like, no, I want to be liked. So I know that from past experience, when I show up not dressed, jewels down, like say you're a maximalist with your outfits, deep down inside you are a maximalist, okay? But you show up very polished, very minimalist, which is nothing wrong with it, but that's not you. But you have wore that style as your blanket because you know that people tend to accept you or invite you places when you look like that, and when you have your maximalist jewelry on and your bright colors, nobody wants to be around you because they think you're doing too much. Baby, put that jewels on. And baby, put that color on. If that's you, put it on. Because at the end of the day, God will bring you those friends, those community, that person that'll change your life. He'll create spaces and places and put people in your path that'll accept that maximalism. And hey, one day if you do want to look polished minimalist, go for it. But if your true desire and who you know to be is a maximalist, baby, you got to show up as the maximalist, because there is a mini maximalist looking at you. Like, if she can do it, I can do it. There are so many people tied to your obedience. There are so many people tied to who you were created to be. And they need to see you. They need to see you show up in that light. Not only to give them confidence, but because it's needed, girl. Your light is needed. The world is full of darkness. Why be another darkness? Did that make sense? Why be another speck? Okay? Take the lampshade off of your light, baby, and let it shine. Here's the thing. It's easier to play small when you think it protects you, but it actually hinders you and it limits you. It limits you to opportunities that were given to the fake version of you, not even the true you. So how do you even really know that you want that opportunity? It hinders you to the access and the people that you're supposed to be connected to. Think about it this way. You were designed to grow, to continue to evolve, not to shrink, not to hide, not to cower away in your shell. Of course, I'm gonna give you a scripture for this one too. 2 Timothy 1:7, and it says, "For God gave us the spirit, not of fear, but of power, love, and self-control." I want you to study that scripture and ask God how you can apply it to your life. That scripture has helped me so much in my confidence to understand that I will experience fear, but I don't have to allow fear to live inside of me. That I can do things while I'm scared. I can go out for the opportunities. I can talk to someone that I want to be friends with. I can introduce myself to a CEO and ask for a job because the fear doesn't live in me. I do experience it as an emotion, but I don't have to wear it on my body like a jacket. Going back to the jacket analogy, I don't have to wear it like a jacket. It could be like a little lipstick, you know, that I carry in my purse because, again, I have to move with my purse that has the fear, but I don't have to wear the fear that holds me down. Hope that helps. I don't know if I made sense, but again, I always tell people you have to go to God. You have to read your scripture, go to God, and ask Him how it can apply in your life. Now that we have recognized how we show up shrinking in our life, then we went in and dissected how shrinking shows up in our life, which is the root cause. Now we got to do something about it, okay? You've done your research. You've understood how it shows up, why it shows up, the root cause. Now it's time to put the pen and paper down, baby. We've done all of our research. Take the glasses off. Now it's time to put it into action and actually demolish that thing and actually start to walk boldly and stop shrinking. Walk boldly into who God has created us to be. Walk boldly into our purposes, the things that freak us out, the things that scare us, as we talked about before, and actually go for life, live life, go for big. How do we actually stop shrinking? What are some practical ways that we can show up every day, small or large, that'll help us along our journey? Number one way to start is to own the rooms and the spaces that you are currently in, whether it's a corporate space, whether you're a stay-at-home mom, whether you're in school, whether you're a teacher. I think that the rooms that we are already in, there's a way that we're not showing up fully. Therefore, there's a way that we can start showing up fully. Now, again, I don't know what that is for you, but for me, I'll give you an example. I joined this group and I'm a little more timid in this group. It's a community group and I'm a little more timid. I don't say much and I just go with the flow. Whatever the leader tells me to do, I kind of do it. Well, as of lately, I volunteered to do a particular job and I did a decent job. So it created a stir in me. It created a confidence of like, girl, if you are good at something, it's okay to advertise that. And it's okay to volunteer yourself to do that. And you are capable of doing it. And you are capable of doing it and doing it well. Everybody is in a room, a building, an opportunity where you can show up as your full self. Again, you have to figure out what room that is particular that you're shrinking in and that you could show up better. Another tip that I have for you is that you can practice standing on business. You can practice meaning what you say and not over explaining. I think a lot of us, especially as women, especially if you're a yapper, you feel like naturally like you have to explain as well as people pleasing. Like you feel like you have to over explain or that you have to go into details. You don't. If you can't do something, then that's that. Recently I practiced that. It was so freeing. All I said is, no, I'm not gonna be able to do that. And I didn't over explain. And y'all, I was so scared. I'm not gonna lie. I called my husband. I was like, oh my God, you never guess what I just did? I told someone I can't do that. And he was like, oh, okay, cool. And then when I explained it to him, he applauded me because he does know that I tend to be a people pleaser and I tend to overanalyze and I tend to forget about myself and over explain. And he was like, good job. But again, at first he was like, okay, cool. Because he doesn't do that. So then it gives me this perspective of, wow, there are people out here who show up fully and authentically and are not afraid of what people have to say, because they don't answer to them. At the end of the day, all you're going to have to answer to is God anyway. So it's like, why not just be honest without over explaining? It is what it is. You said what you said. Now stand on it, baby. Actually, you don't even have to stand on it. Sit on it. Sit on it. Okay, yeah. Now you're going to set the boundary, because you have already said, no, I can't do that. Now that's the boundary, okay? You have a boundary. A boundary, sometimes boundaries are scary, and sometimes people overuse boundaries, okay? Because unpopular opinion, but I do believe that we're going to have to do a lot of things that are uncomfortable. I'm in a very uncomfortable season, but it's growing me and it's stretching me in a hard way. But it has been so freeing at the same time. So emotional, but yet so light and airy. And I want to cry, but I also want to run in the fields with my arms open, letting the sun hit my face. Like, I don't know if I explained it well, but it's so beautiful to set a boundary, set an intentional standard. Like, a boundary to me can be a standard for yourself. We as women, we need standards. So therefore, that boundary can be your standard. Whether it's a general standard that you have over your life, or there's just a standard that you have with a person. Practice a boundary. It was easier for me to set the boundary and standard with someone I knew and loved and could accept it eventually, like my husband and my kids. So I started there, and then I branched out. Now, for me, it was the hardest to set a boundary with something or someone that I felt like had a little control, like work. You know, you need to pay your bills, okay? Or a friendship that I really wanted. So those things were really hard actually at first to set a boundary with. But I think that I've gotten really good at setting a standard and a boundary. And if you're not hitting it, if you're not respecting me, we're going to have to politely exit the conversation, exit the relationship, put it on pause. I'm not saying cut it off, but I'm just saying, like, sometimes the level of the relationship or the level of that thing that has access in your life, the access level has to come down. If that person had full level 5 access and you have realized, like, that boundary is wrecking you and allowing you to shrink and dim your light, baby, dial that back down. Okay, take it down to a 1. Give them 1 level access, okay? And that's that, and that's okay. That's okay if you have to do that. If you need permission, I'm gonna go ahead and tell you, that's okay. But you don't need permission from me. You don't need permission from me, because you got this. You got this. And lastly, we are gonna celebrate our wins. Big, small, tiny, micro wins. Baby, we're celebrating all. You no longer have to hide your wins to make someone else feel comfortable. I'm sorry. I won. Matter of fact, I didn't even do it. God did it. I put in the work, but God made it happen, really. So therefore, I'm celebrating it because it's a win for him. Not just a win for you, but it's a win for him. And we love to show other people that you can win with God. So you're celebrating your wins. Again, big, small, micro, you're celebrating. So I want you to think about, within the last week, what is a win that you could celebrate right now as you're watching this video, or once you get off the video, baby. However you like to celebrate, okay? And go celebrate. Treat yourself. Treat yourself to that snack, to that bag, to the earrings. I mean, be financially responsible, but you know, treat yourself. It is okay, especially if you don't treat yourself. It is okay to give yourself a little something, okay? You gained 2 followers. Celebrate that, baby, because that's 2 people that if you met today could change your life. You never know. Maybe you lost 1 pound this week. Celebrate that. Now, don't derail your progress. Don't be out here eating, but celebrate that, okay? Maybe it's big, like a new promotion, or you started a business, or you made 10K. Celebrate the wins. Small, medium, large. Who cares what they think? We're not making other people comfortable for us to be uncomfortable, for us to be shrinking ourselves. We're not doing that. Okay, we're celebrating. That is the biggest takeaway that I really want you to get, is when you start celebrating your wins, that confidence level, ding, ding, ding. When you stand on business of what you said, ding, ding. When you set that standard, ding, ding. When you show up as your authentic self, show up for yourself. If nobody shows up for you, you got to show up for yourself. And by showing up for yourself is showing up as the light that you are deep down inside. I really hoped that this video inspired you to show up as your most beautiful, most authentic, most glorious self, filled with so much light and love, because we need it. The world, again, is so dark. Light is truly needed. And if no one has ever told you that, I'm going to tell you that today. Your light is truly needed and it's wanted. You are wanted. Your purpose is wanted. It's needed. So here's a reminder. You are allowed to take up space. You are allowed to grow and to glow. And you are allowed to show up fully without any guilt. Use those 3 things as affirmation every day if you need to. Whatever version that is for you, start showing up as her today. Not the watered down version that you have presented yourself to be for all these years, but show up as her, bold, without the filters, the true authentic you. You got this, girl. So again, beautiful people, thank you so much for tuning into this video. I really hoped it helped, and I hoped that it inspired you to show up as your full authentic self, no longer shrinking, no longer dimming your light, but walking boldly as a person that you were called to be. If this video helped you today or even inspired you, please leave a star in the comments and tell me one way that you're going to stop shrinking today as you're watching this video. One, whether it's a small step or a big step, but one way that you are going to show up as your true authentic self. Don't forget to like and subscribe and share this video with a woman that you know needs to hear this message. Again, I love you. Thank you for watching, and remember to do everything with love.